sure it looks like it's apart. Alrighty, this is the What's Your Opinions podcast. Yeah, clap this bitch up. And we're off. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the What's Your Opinions podcast. It is me, your luxurious host, Elias Montes. And what am I actually doing here today? I really don't know. I really do know. Alex isn't here for the main part that he just moved into a new place. Can we get a round of applause for Alex? That should be a good enough of a round of applause, right? Why am I wearing glasses when it's almost 12 o'clock in the morning? I don't know. I thought I would look nice. I got the vintage Nike t-shirt on, got the vintage San Diego State, and the Giorgio Armani's on my face. And what it is. So a quick shout out. Big shout out to Alex for getting his new place instead of living in a pretty much where I'm living at right now, which is a little one bedroom. It legit his my room is probably a little bit smaller than what he was living at. And him and his girlfriend Adri, shout out to her, they got themselves their own place. And it's literally crazy how my great grandmother, my grandma Maria, she used to live there, like legit same house. And I thought that was crazy. So I thought that was pretty funny. I made a bunch of jokes that they gentrified my grandmother out of her own spot, but I haven't seen my great grandmother in a couple years. But yeah, I had to help him move today. That was a hassle in itself. During the first day of summer, it was the summer solstice. The when the summer solstice, that's like an Avatar term that I like to partake in. These firebenders they were in shambles. I think that's how the show went. I haven't watched the show in like a good solid year since the pandemic, but it's whatever. But yeah, that's kind of like the bigger news with Alex right now. He moved into a new spot. His girl, and his kid that they live there. So that's really exciting news. But before we start anything, happy late Father's Day. By the time this comes out, which will be Friday, Father's Day had already passed. It's Sunday. So I want to give a shout out to all the fathers out there that have, done what they can do, and the fathers and the single fathers out there. Happy Father's Day to you. And happy Father's Day to my dad. Shout out to my dad. He may be hard on me, and I sometimes see him as a jackass or an asshole. Maybe he listens to this podcast. Maybe he doesn't. I tend to care less. If you are a dad, thank you. I appreciate everything you do for me, and I appreciate, the sacrifices you have made for me, to be in the situation that I'm in, and to try to be a better man. I know I got a lot to live up to, knowing because of you. You set the right example, and you've done a great job. I think you can say that for all of us as siblings. So shout out to you, Dad, and I love you. But let's get into the actual meat and potatoes of the show, which I really don't know how to even start this off. Like, to be completely honest, I don't know. We're at this point. I'm at this point where like topics have to be like a legit thing for me, and yet it's still a topic that like blows my mind sometimes. But if I don't even want to get into a lot of sports. I know there is one thing I do want to talk about, which has to do with sports. Um, I just think sports is funny at the moment. The Oakland A's have continued to suck. We and Alex, when we went to dinner today, we saw the Oakland A's were barely losing in the top of the sixth, 2-0. And then somehow between innings 6 through 9, 6 more runs were scored. The Oakland A's, you are a travesty of a fucking franchise. Sell the team, please. Sell the team. Just get rid of the team at this point. I don't care. Like, how have we gone years of just absolutely just sucking? I couldn't tell you. More or less, I watched UFC Fight Night. That was incredible. Shout out to everyone that was on there. That was a great, great, great fight card. Again, Donald Cerrone couldn't fight to basically end his career. And I'm pretty sure that man's just going to retire on his own merit at this point. He has like nothing left to prove. Do you guys like the setup? Like for videos? We haven't done a legit video podcast since probably Alex's debut on the show. And me and Alex are trying to get into that, trying to get back into it. We want to spread this podcast out even more, and especially with it being, for YouTube and all that stuff, we kind of do want to do that again and bring this aspect of kind of, having this really cool, fun session in my room. And, we have a little setup, got a little posters and shit. You like the anime shit I have? This is the manga I have. Manga recommendation of the, of the podcast. I just bought this. This is volume 2 of Call the Night. I haven't read the first volume just yet, but, I'm getting into it. And that's a big part of the fucking podcast too. Other meat and potatoes. Um, I got a bunch of other manga holding it together. And then I have this VHS box set. I found this a couple years ago. I thought I would have it, like first thing to present it. Might as well show it, right? This is the Dragon Ball Z World Tournament Saga. This is the uncut version. If you guys remember, this was after the Great Saiyaman Saga. And this is when we got to see Kabito Kai? Or Supreme Kai. And this other Kai, I forget. And then Videl absolutely get ruined in her match. Nothing cool there. I like collecting VHSs. I think they're fun. Just collect what you like, Don't collect because it's hype. Collect because you like. That's a quote. Quote me on that. Ah, man. It's kind of weird doing shit by yourself. You've been so used to you're so used to having a certain way of how you do things. Am I right? Like how, if you've been doing something by yourself for so long, and then all of a sudden now you have to have someone else do it with you. You have to kind of adjust with it. You gotta have to adjust. And when you just adjust, when you just start getting to that place where you're comfortable with that said partner, all of a sudden, bam, you're back to doing it by yourself. I'm not saying Alex isn't leaving or anything, but legitimately he was just like, yeah, I can't record today. I'm very tired. Can you do it by yourself? And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do a test film today. And I'm talking to myself today. And I think I did like 2-3 episodes ago, I did it by myself. Legitimately, the week prior to last week's episode, I should have had it done by myself. File didn't want to work. I couldn't use GarageBand. I'm using GarageBand now because now I'm able to actually legitimately record and not worry about an interface going away. I don't know. It's just dumb. But with this, it's just me. Well, obviously we're going to rearrange it to where the camera can get both of us. Me, Alex, our 2 mics, and legitimately just having fun and being even more, how do you say it? I don't know how to say it. Like, more interactive. I've been wanting to try to do that with like the TikTok and all that stuff, because if you understand like social media, like TikTok is the biggest link to social media as we speak. Excuse me. You look at like TikTok, right? We look at TikTok how it's basically like the fucking Google of social media right now. It's no longer Instagram. It's no longer Facebook. It is fucking TikTok. If you can make it in TikTok and you're able to transfer all your success from TikTok to other successful platforms, such as a YouTube or a streaming, which you guys should follow me, streaming or Instagram or whatever the case may be, you have a business. It's a big way for you to throw everything that you've ever worked hard on and try to get it out as much as possible. You know what I mean? Like with me, like with Vintage City Kings, and with, eventually Vintage City University. Like if I'm able to make, like say I had like 1 million TikTok followers and I get like I have like 100 million likes, and I say, hey guys, I have this new merch. You guys go follow this page. Well, we're dropping on the June 30th. The possibility of me getting a sold out, the possibility of me selling out of my items is more greater than just me just posting on Instagram and just only Instagram saying, hey guys, this is a new drop. Go buy it. And then have an expectation of getting sold out, but then only 2 items sold. Gratefully, 2 items have sold. That means people are interested in my product. But come on, we're in this day and age where money is literally everything, right? So that's kind of like where me and Alex want to be more interactive when it comes to like the podcast kind of setup, where video format, editing, and legitimately just having a really fun time with it. I think, and there's another thing, like there's other things that go in my fucking thought process too. such as, building stuff. Like I said this a lot with Instagram, where I'm just not genuine. I said it on my Instagram. Like I haven't genuinely been happy like with social media. And I have kind of had like this social media kind of syndrome where I've been really self-doubting myself a lot lately, where I not I'm never going to say I'm giving up on like my dream, which is to live off on me being entertaining, or me being uh like being a self-made person, not to the point where I'm making millions of dollars. I don't think I'm going to be making millions of dollars. But to live comfortably, I would love to have that. And I'm getting these self-doubts to where, you know what, maybe I should pick up a couple more hours of work because I haven't sold anything in like 2 months. You know what I mean? I mean, I just sold an item like legitimately like 3 hours ago, but I'm just being like in the consistence of being a seller. There's days where I don't, there's months where I don't sell, and then there's weeks where I'm selling constantly. So it just happens like that way. I've been like in this self-doubt where I'm in this one position where, oh man, I really, really want to just stick to this one site, but I'm not getting the traction that I want. You know what I mean? As to then I'm selling on this site and I'm getting a bunch of fees, or I'm paying a bunch of stuff, or just so much hassle with it. You know what I mean? I think like I was in that slump for a minute, and I talked to my mom about it. And this is things, little insight to my life is I don't like telling people my problems. I really fucking don't. There's people that need to get that shit out, and there's people that need to talk about that shit, but I don't like to. I genuinely just don't want to talk about shit. I don't want to talk about what's going on with my life because it doesn't do you anything. Like, I'm not looking for like a pity party, like, oh, like, it's okay, dude. I'm not looking for that. It's simply just I'll figure it out on my own. I think that's the better way to kind of put it. It's just like me not like, I forgot what video this was. It was like a TikTok video, right? And this guy was just like, yo, did I ever tell you why that chick cheated on me? No. Because you want to know why? That's not your fucking problem. And that's a very true thing. Like, why would I tell you my problems in life, or just problems in general, when I know you can't fix it? I can be in a slump. My mom ain't gonna do anything. The only thing my mom can do is be a great mother and give me advice, which is what she did. And I'm gonna listen to my mom. Like, my mom knows kind of what's best for me more than what I kind of know, which is kind of sad in the same sense. But at the same time, I do agree with her with a lot of shit. And I don't know, after I told her about that, and she kind of gave me a little pep talk, and like, maybe you just got to move your outlet bigger, or maybe you just got to work twice as hard. She's like, I don't know what to tell you. And that's where I'm like, okay, yes, thank you. I kind of needed to tell you that. I didn't need the answer from you. I need to figure it out. And that's sort of what I'm kind of getting through right now. Like look, with everything. I think this is kind of just the part of me going through the motions of, it's not working out right now. It'll work out in the future. And then again, I'm not really in vintage for money. I'm in vintage just to thrift. And even that's being a fucking hassle right now, with everyone trying to compete with everybody. But I don't know how to explain it. It's just like when I'm able to fucking be on one, I'm fucking on one. But then when I get into this slump, it's just there all the time. And I think the only enemy is me. And I'm learning to just kind of overcome this shit. I don't really talk about my problems. It's probably only, you should have talked about like the episode prior, the one that couldn't get released, the original episode 60. Oh, for like a straight maybe 40 minutes, I talked about my actual problems in life. How I'm not saying I'm unhappy. I'm unhappy on the way I'm living. Uh, just little things in my life where I'm just like, fuck, I could be doing a lot better. And then I just choose not to do better. I'm in like that kind of gripe. But then I shouldn't be in that kind of gripe, because why the fuck do I need to be in that gripe? You know what I mean? But that's just me. And I hope you guys, whatever you guys are doing, like in mental state or whatever the case may be, um, whether you're, you know, having these mental issues, or just having these, these like roadblocks, these mental roadblocks, it's going to be okay. Like, you're going to get through it. Maybe it may take some time, whether you broke up with some chick, or a dude, whatever your preference is, or you failed a test and it's a really big test, you failed a grade, like it's not the end of the world. Shit's gonna happen. It's just not gonna go your way. You can't control everything. And once you know you can't control everything, life gets better. Once you know that fucking roadblock that's been blocking you for months or years, being scared to go out again or whatever the case may be, once you get over that, like I guarantee you, life gets better on the other side of the rainbow or whatever that saying is. But let's get to actual media topics of today. Just today, or like 2 days ago, recently, the NCAA. Excuse me, I gotta sneeze. Never mind, I don't have to sneeze. Just sniffing a thing of Coke. I don't sniff Coke. Let's continue. The NCAA had just recently announced that a couple months ago, a couple episodes back, me and Alex had talked about this transgender female. I'm forgetting her name at the moment, but me and him had posted this video on this clip on TikTok, basically saying like, "Yo, do we think transgender athletes can compete in a women's sport?" And we both unanimously had said no. For people that don't know what this is, I believe it was Duke or Penn State. They had a transgender athlete, a man that had become a woman, and she basically won I think she won I think they were like national champions in water polo, not water polo, and like the swimming fucking thing, like the fucking, Phelps and shit. And me and Alex kind of went through, like, you just can't argue with science. If this is a thing where we totally believe, hey, you should be able to do whatever you want with your body. If you believe you were born a certain way, go ahead and do that. I don't believe you should do that when you're in the early stages of a teenager. These are just phases, and maybe this is just a phase, or it's a feeling you're just uncomfortable with. We don't know. But what we do know is that we believe that transgender men that that were men prior, shouldn't compete in women's sports at a grown age. And people think, well, that's just taking away trans rights. It's still transphobic and all that stuff. But it's simple biology. You're taking away the testosterone, but it's like a full-grown man, which is what happened here. Before he became a she, he was already an adult. Then he became a woman. Height advantage. The average swimmer, we looked this up, is 5'9". That is the average. This person was 6'2". A clear advantage. Had a wingspan of like Kevin Durant. Clear advantage. And I don't believe that is fair amongst these women that have trained just as hard, if not harder, than that transgender woman. And they come in second, third, fourth place. And just because she followed the rule, I mean, granted, she followed the rules. And I don't blame the woman. I blame the university. I blame the NCAA for this. And now they have basically trying to cover their asses with simply just I don't know why I turned that all the way. My bad, guys, if you guys got bad audio quality for like the last 2 minutes. But what I mean by the NCAA is they're covering their asses because now they banned her. She cannot compete no more. And to me, that is unfair because of your To me, that is unfair because of your poor choices. And because it's the NCAA, you want to make money off these players somehow, some way, you were willing to do that. That's all that it comes down to. It wasn't her fault. It was the administration, or because they said you have to at least go through 12 months of hormonal transfer therapy. A year? And that's it. When someone that has been a male for pretty much their entire life, and then all of a sudden 12 years of hormonal transfer therapy, and that's it, and I compete, cool. That's all I need. That's it. That's perfect. And now the NCAA is just like, yo, you're not going to You cannot compete. If you're a transgender, you must have been in transition prior to puberty, and they give like the local age of like 12 years old. And I'm just like, what? So you're telling me you in order for me to compete before transition, I have to make that life altering change at 12 when kids are not in the best, they do not know their best interest. I was 12 and I thought, you know what? Maybe jumping off this roof can put me on YouTube and I could be YouTube famous just like the people on Jackass. Sure enough, 10 views later, didn't work. So that's them just trying to cover their asses with it. Again, I don't blame the chick. She simply just followed the rules. Like I said, don't think she should compete. I think they should have their own league in order to do this. But other than that, this is just the NCAA's fault. This is them trying to cover their asses right now because, well, they got the backlash and they don't like backlash. Same thing with players, college players not getting paid often, and so many different, fucking scandals they want to make up with. I don't know. Sorry, the thing went out for a minute, but it's so weird when we put that in perspective, right? Where it's just like, yeah, we fucked up. We're gonna ban her. She can't compete because we fucked up. This is why the NCAA is a fucking joke sometimes. We're literally. I really don't know how to explain the NCAA because the NCAA is a fucking joke when it comes to they never wanted to play their players. Oh, because it's a free education. Well, screw you. If I fucking blow my knee out and I can't play for the rest of my life, I can't play football ever again, I'm screwed. You're not. You're still making money. My chances of going to the NFL are fucked. And all you can say is, well, you did it. You did it. And then not only that, I can't make money because I'm already living in debt. You refuse to give me some type of allowance where I have to get a job. Let me rephrase that. Or I can't make money with, say, like with that Destroying kid, where he basically made a living off of YouTube videos. And then they just said, yo, it's either your scholarship or there. Are you making money off of this? He's like, yes. Well, you got to pay that back. No, I'm going to continue to do this. And that's a fucking dumb ultimatum. It's like, okay, do I go and play a football or do I play a program where I'm not even guaranteed a NFL draft pick or a roster spot? Or go to YouTube where I can make a somewhat comfortable living, but everyone likes my videos, and that means more sponsors, that means more money coming my way. That's guaranteed. That's 80% guaranteed to just playing for this team, make millions for this team, and not reap the benefits of this team when I can't even eat. Or I not even guaranteed a draft spot, or I'm not guaranteed a roster spot on an NFL team. That is how the NCAA works. They just don't care about these kids. And if you want to say, oh, this is a free education, that's so bullshit. Free education, but the minute I bust my knee and I can't play no more, you take my scholarship away. I thought it was a free education. That's the NCAA for you. And with this, I'm pretty sure that woman is probably going to sue them. Rightfully so. I mean, it's not her fault, like I said. I think this is the fault of the NCAA. And that's pretty much it with sports. I might make another sports episode just strictly with me doing NFL stuff. If I want to do like other things around the world, George Kambosos, he finally activated the rematch clause for him and Devin Haney. They're most likely going to fight in Australia, which I think they should fight in Oakland. But hey, beggars can't be choosers, and I still think Devin Haney will win this very comfortably. Unanimous decision. There's nothing in that fight where I'm like, you know what? If George Kambosos did something if George Kambosos continued that, the fight's different. It's the same kind of thing in my eyes. But I think with Kambosos, it's just, hey, I could try to fight this guy and force him to fight, but this kid's just too skilled and he won't allow him to put himself in that position. Ryan Garcia has continued to be a clown in this league, in the division. I don't want to talk about him. And I think that's about it with sports news. Rob Gronkowski, he retired for the second time. That's awesome. And Deshaun Watson. I thought he was supposed to fight the civil case to prove his innocence. Looks like that's not coming to be. He just paid off 20 of the 24 women in the civil case. If that don't say guilty, I don't know what is. Well, let's move off from sports. Let's get to our last topic, which is, anime and manga. I said this before with anime. I cannot wait to watch the new stuff for July. Alex sent me a fucking post, and the reason why I have this called the Night One. This is volume 2. Volume 1's summer right there, but as you guys can see, this is volume 1 of this is volume 2 of Call of the Night by Kotoyama. This seems like a pretty cool, fucking piece to watch. I know it comes out in July, and we get Chainsaw Man. There's a lot of good ones in there that I'm kind of like, a little heavy. Like the one I'm kind of like, but I know it's gonna be a sleeper is Yakuza Babysitter. That one just seems like it's gonna be just a great comedy, as like a show or whatever. But with anime, there comes always these controversies with anime, and more likely, it's starting to kind of flow into the cosplay industry. And what I mean by that, there is this tweet. I don't have it with me right now. I'll put it on the screen now. Um, fuck, I cannot talk. I cannot talk worth a damn. But a cosplayer, I assume, and I'm pretty sure. Yeah, she's a cosplayer. I've seen her fucking Twitter. She posted on this Twitter saying, why isn't that white people or Caucasians get the hate that black and Latinos and basically minorities get when they cosplay, where it's like, where the tweet said, why on earth do black people get a hate for cosplaying and white people don't when we're cosplaying the same character? You know what I mean? And that's just a weird thing to do, is why are you judging someone by their race cosplaying somebody? It doesn't make any sense, because you got to understand, they're cosplaying Japanese people. Every single show we've ever watched out of anime most likely comes from Japan, and they'll tell you. And people don't understand, and people just think, oh, they're just white. They're white people, just like us. And no, that's not the case. There is a lot of representation in anime when it comes to stuff. The black community have always been a little bit mad with how they've been characterized and how they've been represented in there, and I completely understand. And then, but like the only person to me, like there's only a few like Hispanic and Latino characters that are in anime. I think Chad from Bleach, I believe he's Mexican. I forgot the other 3 characters that I know. I think they're Mexican. I think they're like Hispanic or some other thing. I don't know at the moment. I'm running blind. I don't have my computer with me. But that's a real big problem in like the community of anime, where it's just like, stop appropriating Japanese culture, but yeah, we could do it. What? That's so stupid. It's like, I made an episode about this not years ago. I made an episode about this maybe a year ago. I want to say a year ago. This is like 2021. The podcast was flowing. I was making a lot of episodes at the time, and an episode I made was about cosplay. I believe that's like my 5th most watched episode. And I appreciate that, guys. It continues to grow to this day. I talked about stealing and being inspired. You cannot steal someone else's cosplay. It's practically impossible. I can go buy a fucking Goku outfit and wear it, and someone from Amazon, and someone could have bought the same thing from Amazon. Is that considered stealing? As to somebody that put their hard work into this, made everything from scratch, from the shin guards to the shoulder pads to the hair to everything. You cannot replicate what they make. It's hard to steal something from cosplayers. Like, I guarantee you, Jessica Nigiri only has those cosplays, nothing else. No one can replicate that unless it's the person that made it for her. And you can't steal that. And when I made that episode, there was these two sorry, this thing was being weird on me. There was these two cosplayers, one being black and one being white. And this cosplayer, I'm forgetting his name, they were being controversial over Danny fucking Phantom. And the black cosplayer was simply a simple IG post. I believe it had 50,000 likes before he had posted the tweet, and it said "Going Ghost." It looked pretty simple, the white hair, and it looked great. White hair, the gloves, the whole Danny Phantom getup, and then he edited it where his hands were green, like just it's like he just like edited it to where it's just green, nothing else, with that like fighter pose, and the caption on it said "Going Ghost." Okay, and then about a week later, another cosplayer who was a white male did an incredible job on his cosplay, and had like where the silver was on Danny Phantom's, like on the D and on the hands, they were like bejeweled crystals on them, so when the light shined it sparkled. And same thing, the hair, the blush, all that stuff. That was the difference between the cosplays. He did a little bit more, and had a little bit, I would assume, a little bit more experience in editing, where instead of like just green hands, it was like green flames that were sparkling with the fucking like the plastic crystals or whatever he had on there. And it was a bit similar in that pose, and it said "Going Ghost." Black cosplayer sees that. The white kid has 197,000 likes to his 70,000. First of all, that's 70,000 people that liked your shit. Be grateful. Kid went above and beyond, did the editing, went more hard into his thing, and then he put him on there saying, "I hate this. We as black content creators, I am tired of us getting our stuffs taken, like it's always done." And I'm like, no, this wasn't taken. You don't own Danny Phantom. You don't trademark "Going Ghost." You would be saying that to everybody that's ever bought a Danny Phantom costume and saying "Going Ghost." It just, they're not appropriating or they're stealing anything from you. It's simply they had the same idea. Not the same idea. They had the same idea to be Danny Phantom. They just went above and beyond. And with the cosplay community, it's simply just stupid how you guys again want to try and gatekeep a culture that's not even yours. That is the main premise of this. Cosplay is for everyone. I can cosplay if I wanted to. I don't, because I don't make cosplays and I don't feel like cosplaying. Maybe one of these days when I become famous enough to go to a panel and have fun, then maybe. But as of right now, no. And I enjoy these people's cosplays. They're amazing. But there's always that person that has to ruin it. And it's those people that just aren't comfortable with seeing people of minority or just people of color that have a better cosplay than someone that would be white. It's simple. There's people that just fill those roles out a lot more. And yet it's called appropriating. But when you guys do it, it's not appropriating. It's like, I'm just cosplaying, man. But you don't know that culture. So it's just like, whatever. And that's like what really bugs me. And that's what really bugs me in this anime community, where we have gotten so distant with each other, where it's like the anime community is literally segregated, and that's a joke. Let's be honest. Like, you have people out here who is just like, well, when you cosplay, you have white people complaining. It's like, oh, that doesn't do it. Why don't you just fucking twerk? I'm just like, what are we talking about? Or it's like, oh, Ichigo's not Mexican. Why don't you just go play Chad and make some burritos and tacos? That was a legitimate tweet on someone's cosplay as Chad. He was dude, he had it all. And he even grew his hair out for it. Like, he went above and beyond, crimped it to where it was long. Had, the Chad cosplay. He said Chad was his favorite character in Bleach. And it's like, oh, Chad's not black. Chad's just, he's just a darker skinned character. Chad doesn't do any of that. And I'm just like, what? What are we doing? Like, why are we trying to gatekeep shit? I hate that shit so fucking much now, man. Like, why are we gatekeeping shit when you guys, like, anime people just want to act like people that are there's to me there's three different types of people in anime. You have the people that are racist in anime, where it's you think it's your culture when it's not, so you're gonna gatekeep the fuck out of everybody because that's not their culture when that's not even your culture. Two, you have these elitist anime people that literally spend hours upon hours in their fucking room in their desk looking up every little article that fucking Kobayashi ever made and it's being like, oh, Kobayashi and all these other manga artists and every little indicative in their interviews and the little fucking word that they may have switched or it may have been translated wrong. Now it fits your description of why a certain character is stronger than them and they could solo everything. It's just like, oh yeah, you like My Hero Academia? Yeah, dude. I think it's pretty cool. I'm on season 2. Oh, but Deku cannot be Goku. He just can't because Akira Toriyama 2 years ago, even before Ultra Instinct was ever even fathom of a thing, he said Goku could solo the entire verse because of his speed and agility and martial arts, and that's why Goku is all great, and he will never be beaten ever. When there's a guy literally named One Punch Man that if he punches Goku once, you're done. You're dead. Those kind of people, and then you have people like me, who is just chill. Hey, you like anime? Yeah, I like anime. Cool, what do you watch? Hey, I like watching fucking hentai. That's cool, man. You do you. It's not for me, but hey, you do you. Or it's just like, yo, what do you like watching? What's your favorite anime right now? Ah, man, I like fucking I like Spy X Family. That's awesome. And then you got the two other morons in the fucking room arguing over dumb shit, and you got the elitists like, well, Spy X Family's not a fucking true shonen, so that's not a good anime because shonen ruins all. Shonen is amazing. When I'm just like, fuck you, man. I like slice of life. Leave me alone. Let me protect my daughter Anya and my wife Yor, and see this random dude Twilight just be trying to be a father. I'm the father to them. I'm the father that stepped up. I'm not a stepdad. But you know what? I plead my case and I do my things. That's all I'm asking. Just be better. Is it that hard to just be better and just be okay? I don't know. Ay 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 ay. But I think with all that being said, I think I'll wrap it up here, guys. If you guys want to catch this podcast, I don't have a YouTube page for it just yet, but it will happen eventually. You guys can follow the podcast on pretty much every platform. You guys can, support me at Vintage City Kings with the Z at the end. That's on our Instagram. You guys can support Alex at Lepe Let's Plays on Twitch whenever he does be able to, whenever he is able to be able to Twitch on there. Obviously, he ain't doing that for a while. He just moved into a new pad. I go on Twitch almost every day at the twitch.tv/WYOP Gaming, where I stream for about an hour and have fun doing it. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another session of the What's Your Opinions podcast. I hope you guys like it. We're all on all platforms, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and other hootenanny bullshit. Hopefully this syncing isn't as hard as I think it would be. So I see you guys next week. Hopefully with Alex, and if not, you got me for another week. Peace.